ago. So we're up there now, and we're going to have to try and stay up there. So yeah, at the end of the day, that they'll be expected, whatever way they go, whether it's finish first or second or through the playoffs. We if we don't qualify for the Euros, whether it's maybe we can judge them at a higher level, it would be a disappointment. So it's all about results based business now, and to qualify for the World Cup now. The backup now is trying to qualify for the Euros, and hopefully they
No,
can.
I'm going to slightly disagree with you. Yes,
Okay.
the permanent manager, the results in the qualifiers, but these two, I was very disappointed in the original squad that she went with the strongest team, and it was only having her hand forced to injury that she bringing in two inexperienced players. In these friendly matches, in my opinion, it shouldn't be all about results. It should be broadening your squad, strengthening your squad, giving experienced players for the qualifiers in the autumn itself. And I'm very disappointed that in Eileen Gleeson, I go back again to the Nations League, the last two matches. Yes, she wasn't a full-time coach, or hadn't been announced, but within weeks she was announced permanent coach. She had to know she was almost in the cusp of getting it. There was a perfect opportunity to bring in two players in the last two games. She didn't do it. This is her first game when she's officially announced her two games, and she went. The original squad was a full-strength squad again. Now her hand has been forced. The two young players wouldn't have been brought in only for injuries. So in my opinion, in the friendly matches, you should be developing your squad, bringing in young players. So yes, results will matter in the qualifiers, but I think she has to be using the friendlies to develop her squad. And I was disappointed when I saw the original squad. Now it's worked out. There's two new players coming in, but her hand was forced. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I can understand, Paul. You're on about the depth of the squad, and I totally understand that. It's like I said, it's probably too much of an established squad at the moment, but it's up to these players now to take their chances. Now, obviously, like you said, it was forced upon Eileen Gleeson to bring these two players in for the League of Ireland, and maybe she could have brought in a few more. But there always is going to be injury suspensions, and I suppose in a negative in a way, Paul, if she just called people up into the squad that are probably new to the system, that's probably going to get like you rather prefer that during the qualifiers. Obviously, injuries play a part in friendly matches. I know suspensions probably doesn't come into for friendlies, but it will come into for the European qualifiers. So yeah, that is a bit of a negative, Paul, where her hand might be forced later on through injuries and suspensions, like I said, and you'd be throwing people into the squad when you probably should have been doing it for these two games. I totally accept that point as well. So look, it all depends on what sort of draw we'll get. I think it's in April, like you said. I think there is a good squad there, and the competition for places is fierce. Although there are some players that have come in now, like Fahy and Lewis Quinn and Mannion, I think, who wasn't in last squad. Megan Campbell as well, I think. So yeah, we need a settled squad, but we always need competition for places. We can't have a closed shop, as you say. And I
You know
think
what? Sorry for cutting across you. I presume the game against Wales next Tuesday will be tough. I would be hoping, for example, that a new goalkeeper would be, or the sub goalie would be tried out in that game against Wales.
yeah,
Courtney Brosnan's number one. She plays with Everton, I believe, in the Women's
yeah,
Super League in England. Number one, that's it. And away to Italy, of course, you play your number one. But at home to Wales, I'd be hoping that she'd throw in the sub goalie and give her a full game. She had an opportunity last November, she didn't do it. I think she should do it because what happens in the qualifiers next autumn? Big game, and God, I'm not looking, but it could happen. Courtney Brosnan could be out injured. What are you going to do then?
yeah. I think it's something that probably should be under consideration, Paul. Like I think Courtney Brosnan's established number one. She played very well in the World Cup. I mean, the fantastic save she made against Nigeria. It was she's had number one for a number of years. But I think you're right. If like injuries, like I said, if something is forced upon her where she could get a bad injury and she could be out for the whole qualifiers. Now Grace Maloney has played for her numerous times. I think it's through poor form that she lost out, and then Courtney Brosnan took her chance, which is fair, Paul. Like if you don't perform, you got the other keeper coming in has to take a chance. But I think now she's so established now that it wouldn't do Courtney Brosnan any harm at all that if Maloney or Whitehouse got a full game, because we know who's the established number one. But I think it's just something that should be tried out. I agree with you, Paul. It should be tried out because goalkeepers don't normally be changed that much anyway. And I think Maloney or Whitehouse should. No, but I'm not saying it's not charity here either, Paul. I think it's just broaden your squad, making sure that these players can handle the pressure of the back four. Obviously, get because it could be different for a club level. because at club level, Maloney and Whitehouse will be playing with a back four that they know inside out because they will play them week in, week out. But international level, I think it's good to have a try, particularly in the friendly game, to see the communication, what way everything works out. Playing out from the back or set pieces.
Very important.
Very important. Set yourself up for your team. So you rather have all that things. Obviously, I know it all happens in training. I know that, but training and match day is completely different because obviously you're playing against players you don't know, and how it's set up in the corners, free kicks, stuff like that. When the keeper comes, the communication when like my ball, like just make sure everything's understood. So I always feel that that's something that should be looked at. And I think, yeah, you're right. I think away from home, fair enough, currently Brosnan, but at home to Wales now on Tuesday, I would say it wouldn't do any harm to give Maloney or Whitehouse.
No. Just before we want to discuss about the men's manager, just a quick word. I would be concerned. I notice now in modern coaches, but also these professional sports journalists and these professional podcasters, they're always talking about the percentage win record when they look at the manager. And I would be afraid that the Irish manager, Eileen Gleeson, if this is why she's going with her strongest team, that she wants to boost up her win percentage. Like, people say this is a modern way of judging. I don't buy that at all. Yes, percentages and stats are very important. They give you an indication, but it's all about context. And I give you an example. If you were the manager of Glasgow Celtic or even Glasgow Rangers, and you were 75% win percentage, you would be sacked at the end of the year, because that means you want to win the league title. You'll beat most teams anyway. But if you're down the bottom of the Premiership, like Crystal Palace or Bournemouth or Brentford or Nottingham Forest, and if you have a 30% win percentage, you've done a great job because you'll avoid relegation. You know what I mean? There's context. So I'm afraid, and it's just my opinion before we move on, I love your thoughts on it. Is this why the game last November, the two matches, she went with her strongest squad? In the initial squad for these two friendlies, she named her strongest squad. Is she trying to cater for these win percentages? Because I see all these professional journalists, all these professional podcasters, when they're looking at any manager, it's the win percentage. And in my book, that's only a small fraction of it. The context is more important. And in my opinion, friendly matches is the ideal forum to try and expand your squad. Just your quick thoughts before we move on.
Yeah, I think stats can be manipulated to suit your own opinion, Paul. Like you said, the stat there, like for example, Crystal Palace, for example, they might already have, like you said, they could already have a 30%, 28% win record, but they'll stay up and within the budget and hard fought games to stay up in the league. And then, like I said, if you look at Glasgow Celtic, like you said, 80 or 70% win record, you probably won't win the league with that because you are expected to beat 9 times out of 10. You're expected to beat every other side in the league apart from your main rivals. So yeah, it's stats. Can be. I think it can be overwhelming sometimes. I always feel that football is a complicated game, as some people might say, but you simplify it into the simplest terms. I'll give you an example. I remember watching the Pep Guardiola documentary on BBC recently, and Josh Kimmich, German player, I think he said he had a headache at the end of the training session when he first started out with Pep, that of all the information he gave him. And I think Pep is a fantastic manager and stuff like that, but I always feel that it's overcomplicated. I know it's overcomplicated, Paul, to be quite honest. But I think it's all about stats and systems and stuff like that. And sometimes you can't fool your own eyes. If a team's not playing well, their stats might be brilliant in terms of midfield because it might be sideways passes and they're keeping possession. That's one thing that's over analysed. My own club, Chelsea, for example, just giving you stats and how they can be manipulated. Chelsea had something like 80% of the ball in the first half of the game recently against Crystal Palace. But the main stat was we were 1-0 down at half time because Crystal Palace took their one man. That's how stats can be misleading sometimes, Paul, and win percentages and stuff like that. So it's getting all jargon, to be quite honest with you. It's all your head to be fried from it, all the stuff, the information that's coming out. And I think you need to simplify it. For example, you want about the win percentage in the Nations League. We were expected, to be fair. We had a few close games, the Albania game, game where it was a downpour. That was a great victory. But in terms of competition and togetherness and stuff like that, we got the win in the end in unreal circumstances. But we were, to be fair, expected to win all those games. So we should have a very good high win percentage in those games. Now, coming out to the European qualifiers, it's going to be harder because we're probably going to be seen as the. I'm not sure exactly how it works, Paul. Are we going to be playing teams at our own level, like are we going to be in a group with England or something like that, or is it different? I'm up to correction on that, but our ranking has improved, so we should be in a better position. Normally, when you do well and your ranking improves, you should be playing. I'm not saying it's going to be easier, but it should be more favorable for you to qualify. So our win percentage, it can be a lot of jargon, a lot of stuff, but in the day, Paul, results and performances and who you're playing depend is what the main thing is.
Yeah.
If you're playing someone, you should be winning 9 out of 10. You're going to win, beat them. If you're playing someone like a 50-50 game, that's more important. That's more impressive.
Yeah. Okay.